Of all the summer flowers out there, dahlias are truly our favorite. They're so perfect and bloom all summer through. In this video, we're going to show you how to make your own paper dahlias for year-round crafting using a project design from Cricut. Hi creative friends, I'm Sonia from Sustain My Craft Habit. Welcome back to our channel. This is the second tutorial in our Cricut paper flower series. We found dozens of gorgeous paper flower patterns in Cricut's design space, but also noticed that the instructions for making them aren't always so clear. So we're hoping these videos will be helpful for anyone trying to assemble the Cricut paper flowers for bouquets, wreaths, garlands, or any other paper flower craft they have in mind. On our channel, we have the tutorial for paper daffodils, and we'll also have roses, magnolias, and anemones soon. So let's get started with today's project, paper dahlias. To assemble this large paper dahlia, you will need all of the cut pieces in any paper colors that you choose. I stuck with these blues and purples, but you can pretty much pick any color combination you like. You will also need wooden dowel, a hot glue gun, and clear glue sticks, and a paper scraper. This is optional. You don't absolutely need to have this. It just makes one of the steps easier. To start, you want to take all of your individual petal pieces and using your dowel, curl the edges in on both sides. If you have any edges that are not cut cleanly from your cutting machine, like I do, I'm just gonna use my scissors and trim a bit off. There's also crease lines created by the score tool, so you want to fold that as well as you're curling the edges to prepare the pieces. So you want to go ahead and do that for all of the petal pieces, and then we'll continue with the next step. Okay, so now that all the petals are ready, we can move on to the next step. Before we begin though, just keep in mind the size of the petals. So they do vary. So you have the largest, then you have petals that are a little bit smaller here, and then the smallest. So just keep that in mind as you're assembling the dahlia flower. Okay, so I'm going to start with the largest of the petals, and taking this disc shape, I'm going to apply a little bit of hot glue to the tab, and then I'm going to glue that underneath like this. And then I'm going to continue with all of the other purple petals until this disc is complete. You have to work pretty quickly whenever you're using hot glue, and that's the case with this as well. So I'm just kind of layering the petals, overlapping them in the same way as I go around. So now this one's complete, and I'm going to just do the exact same thing with the other colors. With all the petals ready, I can begin to stack them, working with the smallest on the top and then the largest on the bottom. So taking this assembled layer, I'm going to add glue to the bottom. And before the glue dries, I'm going to take the next largest piece and place it in the center, rotating it so that the petals are in between the petals on the layer underneath, like that. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with this layer. Try to center it as best as you can. You can turn it around and see if it's aligned from the reverse side. That's a little bit easier. This petal's a bit loose, so I'm going to fix it. And then again with this piece, it gets a little tricky when it's so many layers, but it can be done in the same way. So press it down into the center, and then I like to turn it again and make sure that it's where it needs to be before it dries. You can kind of have a little bit of working time there. So now I am done assembling all of the petals. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to work on the centerpiece of the dahlia, which is this long piece with all the fringes. So this is where this scraping tool comes in handy. What you want to do is curl the edges. Doesn't matter which side you work on, but you want to curl the edges, the fringe edges inward. Pressing down on it and just pulling it outward, and it creates this curled edge. So work that all the way down. If you don't have this tool, you could also use your fingernails. It's a little bit more uneven, but it still does the same trick. You could even technically just curl it with a dowel, but it doesn't have that same kind of effect that you want to just kind of gently have it roll in towards the center. So as you start to work on the thinner fringes, just be extra careful, be a bit more careful, because those are more delicate and they could tear off. So you don't want that, you don't want to break it. This really softens the paper, which then helps you get that nice curled edge. Okay, so now that you have your edges are curled, what you want to do is make a tight, roll the piece lengthwise and roll it really tight to start. So I'm taking one end like this in my dowel, and I'm just going to just continue to wrap it around the dowel. And this will also soften the paper, make it a bit more manageable. So you don't have to keep the dowel in there for the whole length. Once you've got it started, you can just take it out and then just work it with your fingers. Okay, so your piece will kind of look like this, pretty tight. And then what you want to do is release it, because you actually need a pretty large center. You want to release it, and once again roll it loosely, though this time, with the long pieces in the center. Just really loose. And then that's what it looks like on the top side. To hold it, I like to add a little bit of glue just there before I glue the centerpiece to the rest of the dahlia. Okay. So now that that's held in place, this is where it's gonna go. I'm going to, it could even be a little bit looser actually, now that I see it, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. And I'm gonna add some glue to the bottom, a generous amount of it, like that, and then press that down into the center and hold it till it sets. Okay, and lastly is the leaves. So you have crease lines in the center of the leaf, of each of the leaves. So I'm just gonna fold that, turn my flower upside down, and then glue this to the center. Like that, and then this pretty piece will just cover the circle part so it looks more finished. And the dahlia is done. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial for making a paper dahlia from Cricut's Design Space. You can now use these flowers to make a bouquet, wreath, garland, piece of art, and more. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more nature-inspired DIY, craft, and Cricut ideas. Bye for now.